Welcome to the Airgun Gear Show. That is an FX Wildcat in 2.2, and down there that you can't even see are some tin cans I've put out at 100 yards. Let's see how I get on. I've got my scope wound up as far as it'll go. I'm set on 100 yards, and the footage comes to you courtesy of my iScope and iPhone adapter. And I'm shooting at 100 bar with no loss of accuracy because my FX is regulated. And let me tell you, that sub 12 foot-pound 2.2 pellet isn't finished at 100 yards. Oh no, because after it's made a lovely hole in the middle of the tin, when it comes out the back, it makes an even bigger one. Here's the review. This is the FX Wildcat, the latest pocket rocket from FX Airguns in Sweden. Following on from the demands of new shooters and old, something new was needed in the airgun world, but it had to be right. Many have come before the Wildcat, all trying to take the crown, but this has taken the fight to all of them on the battleground. Side lever loading in the middle of this rifle makes it a natural affair, with an 8-shot simple loading magazine. Pellets can be prepared one-handed. And loading is as simple as slide in, rotate, and be ready to shoot. The workmanship on the FX Wildcat is exquisite throughout, with all the parts machined to an extremely high standard. No rough edges, every corner is silky smooth to the touch. The Wildcat is engineered to show you its skeletal loading system. Every time you pull that loading handle back, it indexes you that next pellet. Talking of pellet loading, the Wildcat has something which I've never seen before. Now, I don't say it doesn't exist, I've just never seen it before. The pellet probe, which pushes the pellet through the magazine and into the barrel chamber, is scooped so as to fit the skirt of the recommended FX pellets. And yes, it really does work better with the recommended pellets. Whisper in your ear though, they are JSBs. So if you can't find the ones with the label FX on the tin, JSB 16 grains should do the job. The probe scoop fits round the skirt of the pellet, and in the scoop is a small cutaway for the air transfer port. It's all been thought out very well. The barrel is a smooth twist one, as with all FX rifles, and it's encompassed by the shroud at the front, which is an active shroud. It's fully functional. I'll show you. If I take the end cap off the shroud and I fire the rifle, it's clearly got quite a bark. However, if I put the end cap back on, you can hear that shroud working, and it makes the rifle quieter, a lot quieter. For me, I don't feel I need any extra moderation on this rifle at all. Now what you'll notice there is that with the end cap off, the camera picks up the pop of the air rifle. Cameras don't pick up the noise of air rifles very well. But with the end cap back on, the camera really only hears the action of the rifle. With the Wildcat, when you move it around, you can hear something moving about inside. And don't panic, it's not broken like someone suggested to me the other week. What that is, it's the free floating hammer system. Now, I'm not a gunsmith, so I'm going to give it to you in layman's terms. Basically, when you pull your bolt back, you sort of pull a hammer system back here, which when you pull the trigger, flies forward, hits the back of the air cylinder and lets a squirt of air out, and your pellet goes off down range. Now, the majority of air rifle manufacturers have a hammer that goes forward when you pull the trigger, and it wants to stay there, so it goes bang and bounces a little, but always pushes against that pin. And what you really want is something that's going to hit it and come away, because you don't want that bounce on the back of the pin, because you're going to lose a little bit of air every time. So what this has got is a free floating system. So the hammer goes forward and goes boop, and then comes away, and it doesn't go back and bounce on the back of the pin. So it strikes and comes back, and then when you're moving around as normal, that hammer just gradually moves around until you cock it, and then it's brought back, and then you pull the trigger and it flies forward and it comes back again. So it's a more efficient system of striking the air reservoir to let the air go. But you do hear it when the rifle's not cocked. See? Take the Wildcat out of its stock and you can see its trigger mechanism and just how adjustable it is. And notice, it's connected via a rod, not a spring, which means the trigger is firm and meaningful. The stock itself is black composite. Now, I don't think there's any wood in there, it's just too light for that, but it is very sturdy and has got a lovely soft touch to it. And I'm going to let you into a secret. The big ding on the top of my scope is where about 3 weeks ago, when I was doing some filming, it fell off the stand onto the floor. The rifle's fine, so's the scope, and the stock isn't even marked. The cheek piece on the top is metal, and you would think, ooh, that's going to be a bit cold and hard. Well, you're wrong. It really is as comfortable as any wood stock I've used. There's a simple safety at the rear, and that just about covers the aesthetics of the Wildcat. Accuracy is, well, it's awesome. I did release this speed shooting video before, and now you're going to see it again. 8 shots in 25 seconds. And if I'm taking my time, they all go through the same hole at 25 yards. Next, let's do accuracy a bit further out, 50 yards. I've put out 9 shoot and see targets, the rifle's on about 100 bar, and I'm going to use my JSB pellets. I'm going to film it all through the scope cam. My first 3 groups are warm-ups. It is early in the morning and I haven't had much coffee yet, but gradually, as the rifle comes to me, my groups get tighter and tighter until I get this. At 50 yards, that's 9 groups, 8 shots for each group. That's awesome. The best one, I think, is the middle, which is about a 1/2 inch group. Now granted, I've got 2 high, but you have to allow for wind at 50 yards. And you can see the rifle is extremely consistent. Now, I know how much all of you out there like your graphs, and I don't get paid for my videos, so there's no whiz-bang graphics here. Instead, I've brought you to sunny Weston-super-Mare, where I can easily draw you a nice graph on the beach. And here is the graph. On the bottom axis, you've got the bar or fill pressure, and that starts at 190 going through to 70. On the upper axis, or the left-hand side, is the feet per second, and I've marked 535, which is the average with the Wildcat with a 16 grain JSB pellet. Now remember, the Wildcat is regulated, so from a 190 bar fill, the shot feet per second all the way through to 70 bar is pretty consistent. It's about 535, which means that you get a lovely flat line all the way across like that, which means you're not wasting any of the air in your gun. Other manufacturers have a power curve, and that goes something like that. And what happens is, when you reach that flat bit of the power curve, you get your most consistent set of shots, but you've got wasted air there and wasted air there. And remember, you've pumped from about 50 bar up to 120, and you're not going to do anything with it. But with the Wildcat, you get to use every single shot without adjusting your point of aim and without having to change anything that you're doing. And it means all those calories you've burnt off, you're going to get to use on the shooting range. All right? Some of you out there are going to ask, has that idiot taken a gun to a public beach? Oh no, but I have got my little blowers. Look at those! Ooh, it's not just me that's got them. Mrs. Airgun Gear's got them behind the camera as well. Before I finish, I'm going to tell you that behind me is Dismaland. Google it, you'll see what I mean. It's kind of appropriate to this section of the video. And over there is Wales, but we don't talk about that. Have I forgotten anything else? Ah, yes. The rifle weighs about 6 pounds without my scope on it. And because I've got the 2.2 sub 12 foot-pound version, I'm getting a massive 200 plus shots out of my cylinder. In the opening sequence, you saw me shoot some tins at 100 yards. Not possible, some of you will say. Well, no, actually you're wrong, because if you use the FX no limit mounts, you can reach out a lot further if you want to plinkets and tins. It's very easy. You undo the bolt at the back on the mounts, or the front if you want at the same time, and you gently tip it forward. And that gives you more wind on your scope, which gives you greater range. I have to tell you that this is the most aesthetically pleasing and exciting air rifle that I've fired in the last couple of years. It really is that good, and it's worked for me faultlessly over the last few months that I had it. I've put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pellets through this rifle, and every time I fire it, it makes me smile. It is a benchmark for bullpup rifles. The loading system is where it should be. It's regulated. It has no gimmicks. It doesn't require batteries to make it work. It requires you, some air, and some pellets. It's absolutely bloody fantastic, and I can strongly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.